was fantastic. Let's hear it for the Marching Thunder. If there's anyone in the audience who's not fully awake by now, you're dead. You gotta be dead. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for coming this morning. My name is Butch Alcindor. Some of you may remember me from my days in local TV, but now I do play-by-play and color for college football. Most of those games are on AT&T Sportsnet and ESPN. But if you want to go way, way, way back, I was actually a college football player and got to go to 2 bowl games. So you don't have to get me really excited for college football. This is the time of year when I get fired up about doing that stuff. And of course, college football is exactly why we're here this morning, because coming up on Monday night, January 8th, we're going to have the College Football Playoff National Championship played at NRG Stadium for the first time ever. So how about a big hand for that? And also, this will be a special anniversary year. The College Football Playoff will be crowning its 10th champion. So that's pretty exciting also, and it'll be right here in our backyard, so that's something we can really, really get excited about. It's also, the College Football Playoff started up the road in Dallas. That was 10 years ago, so it's fitting to come back here to Texas for the anniversary and be in Houston to be a big part of that celebration here in 2024. Well, we'll get to some more football news and some fan information because we have plenty of that to talk about. But first, something that's pretty important. We want to start with how the College Football Playoff and the Houston Host Committee are giving back to our community, because that's what it's all about. We get to see a great game, but we also get a lot of good done in our community, and you can't beat that. So the CFP Foundation is going to be one of the priorities of the College Football Playoff, is the College Football Playoff Foundation. And just a couple of words about that to give you an idea of exactly what they do. The CFP Foundation has one focus, and it's a great focus because they focus in on teachers, and we really need that today. So the foundation is making a positive impact on the host community in Houston, and in conjunction with the local host community, one that will last for years and years. Long after this event is over with, we still feel the effects here in our community. And if you look back at where this game has been, from Tampa to Indianapolis, from Atlanta to where it was last year, the host city in Los Angeles, the positive effects are still being felt around those communities even today. Teachers are needed more than ever. I don't have to tell you that. You know, we're here at Milby High School. We're at a high school. This is an important time, and we need a lot of teachers, and they're so important. And they're important here in Houston, just like all across the country. The College Football Playoff Foundation's entire mission is to support and celebrate teachers nationwide. That is a big task, but they're ready to undertake it. It's about retaining the fantastic teachers we have and then recruiting some more good ones to come in and be right there with them in the trenches. Now, it's a special time. You got a real treat coming up now because we'd like to invite to the stage to discuss all of their great work. We have a few special guests. First off, the Executive Director of the College Football Playoff Foundation, Mr. Britton Vanowski. Come on up, Britton. Take a seat, anyone you like. The Chair of the Houston Host Committee, June Dedrick. And the CEO of Good Reason Houston, Carrie Wright. Carrie, come on up. Thank you guys for being here today. We really appreciate it, and we have a lot to talk about. So the first thing, we got a lot of questions, Britton. We're going to start with you. The College Football Playoff Championship will be played at NRG, and of course that's going to be a big deal, but let me change my notes here. This is the CFP Foundation's 10th anniversary. Tell us about the foundation, how it started, what it does, how it helps the community. Just give us a complete update of what's going on with the foundation.
Sure, happy to do that, and thank you for including us on this program. So as Bill knows and others, when the CFP was started 10 years ago and we were moving from the BCS model to the CFP, folks in the room recognized that there was an opportunity for us with this big platform to give back to our communities. And we talked about what would be the focus of that work. And all of us felt like K through 12 education should be the benefactor of resources and attention and audience and platform leverage. But within that space, we all felt like teachers really needed help. And so, we're unique in that we focus entirely on teachers. We have 4 pillars. We, try and support the recruitment of great teachers, the retention of great teachers. We provide professional development support for teachers, resources for the classroom. And we also use the platform to recognize teachers.
What actually made you guys focus in on just teachers?
So it's, we remember it slightly different, Bill and I do, but we went around the table and we talked about what we should be focused on, whether it was, health issues in the sport of football. But we all had a teacher that made a difference in our lives. We all had a mom or dad that was maybe a teacher, a spouse that was a teacher, son or daughter, and we just felt like there's no more valuable, important place to invest our time and energy than in education, but in educators. We know that without a great educator in the classroom, you're not going to have great student achievement outcomes. And without great student outcomes, you're really not going to have a great society and a great community because you won't have a prepared workforce. So we went all in on that.
Quick word now on the 10th Extra Yard for Teachers Summit. Can you tell us what that is?
Sure. So each year we have a professional development program. It's more of an inspire and empower opportunity for us to convene teachers, bring them together, and host them. We're doing it this year on January 6th at the Wortham Theater downtown. We expect to have a full house. In fact, we opened up registration yesterday. The venue holds about 1,200. We had 1,100 teachers register in 24 hours. So we're either going to figure out how to create some remote opportunities for teachers to view it. It'll also be streamed virtually. But we're excited and really just thrilled with the response we've got here in Houston for our work.
Okay, great. Let's go to June now. And there's a lot of good work being done in our community right now, happening in Houston. Done by the host committee and a lot of other people. It's a very exciting time. Can you tell us what it's been like getting all of this work done, working behind the scenes to make this big event a success?
Well, it's obviously very exciting because we all, as Britton said, we've all had a teacher that influenced us. And so the local host committee, the CFP Foundation, Houston Loves Teachers, we've been working together since May to really put together a program that recognizes, retains, and again, helps our teachers to let them know how much we really appreciate having them and the job that they do. If you remember last year, when HISD and other school districts in the area were getting ready to get started, there was a shortage of teachers. And we want to make sure that our classrooms have the best qualified folks sitting in there educating that next generation. So that's very important to all of us. So we've been working very hard with all of the stakeholders to make sure that the teachers' voices are heard, that we know what the community needs, and that we're moving forward in a way that makes it meaningful for the entire greater Houston area.
And is there a better way to promote it than with football and a championship game?
Well, because every player out there on that field has a coach, has a teacher, has someone that helped them. And thus far, we've been able to, we've had over 15,000 teachers that we've had register and participate. And the foundation itself, we've already put in over $150,000 in a donor choose program, which allows folks to help teachers put materials in their classrooms. We all know how much teachers are spending out of their own pockets to help make sure that there are materials and things in their classrooms to help them with teaching. And this foundation is wanting to partner with the teachers and let them know we appreciate them and we want to make sure they have the best.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's move on to Kerry now. And first of all, are you a football fan?
Of course.
Yes. Favorite team?
Texas Longhorns.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that. I think Zach Edmonds must have gotten to you about that one there. Let me ask you a little bit. Tell us about Good Reason Houston, what the organization does, what its affiliation is with the CFP National Championship, and coming to Houston. So tell us about that story.
So Good Reason Houston is a Houston-based nonprofit organization founded in 2018, and we're really focused on the mission of growing the number of great public schools available to every child in every neighborhood of our city. We work across almost 700 public school campuses across 10 public school districts of the Houston area, serve about 500,000 students. And most importantly within those numbers are the 30,000 area teachers and educators that are a big part of making things work in those campuses and providing that outstanding education to kids each and every day. And so when we heard about this incredible opportunity to partner with the College Football Playoff Foundation and the host committee, it just so naturally synced with what we've been really working here on the ground to do over the last 5 years. And we couldn't be more excited to take this opportunity to bring this national spotlight to such an important part of our Houston community, which are our teachers, who are a big part of shaping the future of our city and improving the lives of our youngest Houstonians.
What an exciting thing to be involved in.
Of course.
Thank you very much. Let's move back to Britain here for a second here. I know the CFP Foundation, you have so many partners. Can you elaborate a little bit about what you guys are doing behind the scenes?
Sure. So we do have great partners, and we could never scale our work without our partnerships with ESPN, conferences, bowls, corporate partners. But our host city partners are far and away the most impactful that we have, and we've not had a host city step up like Houston has. Chris, to you and your team, and June, thank you so much for the leadership and the energy you're putting behind this effort. And then, Carrie, thanks to you and your staff for helping us navigate the landscape here in Houston. It's remarkable, and the results are going to be so impactful for years and years to come. So we're very grateful.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to this year. Well, let's turn to June and Carrie for this next question. The Houston Loves Teachers initiative is underway. Tell us a little bit more about the program, how big the impact has been already, and exactly what are you expecting leading up to January?
I can kick us off. So as we've kind of mentioned, the big focus of this effort through Houston Loves Teachers is to recruit, to retain, and to recognize excellent teachers in Houston. A couple big things are underway. One, we've created a centralized hub for the region to attract great teachers to come to Houston, learn about opportunities to be employed in our great schools in Houston, like Milby High School, where we are today. We've done a lot to also encourage folks who may consider becoming teachers to learn more about the profession. What are the pathways and the pipelines they need to think about getting themselves involved in that are going to get them on the track to becoming a certified teacher, leading a classroom of kids each and every day. To retain our teachers, we're doing more and more each and every day to try and pour into our educators, make sure we can do all we can to lift them up. We've hosted gatherings to bring educators around Houston together at St. Arnold's Brewery. This week we're hosting almost 500 teachers and plus ones for a Houston Astros game. And we're doing more and more to just really be wind in their sails, to be sure they understand that the Houston community sees them, recognizes their importance, and wants to do all we can to uplift them in their profession each and every day. And then as we think about continued recognition of our teachers, we're thinking more about ways to just acknowledge the additional lift teachers have to carry every day. So thinking about just this week at Houston ISD's convocation, we gave out as a Houston Loves Teachers effort, $500 Donors Choose gift cards to teachers to really just help acknowledge so much goes into being a teacher, to delivering great classroom instruction each and every day, and everything this campaign can do to help be a wind in their sails, we're going to do.
And June, you're going to tell us about another special guest we're going to see in just a minute.
Well, one of the things that we always talk about in Houston is a sports city. Houston is an arts city. Houston has so many things. And one of the things that we're going to be talking about here today is going to be our mural project that's going to be going on. And I believe he's going to be coming up here in just a moment. Donkey Boy. So
there he is.
Hello, y'all.
All right.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, I'm going to, Alex Roman, a.k.a. Donkey Boy. Why don't I get you to step up here for just a second? How about that?
Okay, yeah.
Over here, step up here. Yeah, now.
There you go.
First of all, I got a couple of things I want to ask you about. But, Donkey Boy, where did that come from?
That's a long story.
We'll do the short version for
the
today.
short version is I used to get bullied in school because I was an artist, and I used to have to hide my art because I'm from this area, and that just wasn't like a cool thing to do. It wasn't cool to be an artist, so people called me burro, which in Spanish it means donkey. So I took that and I researched donkeys, and I found out that they're very loyal when you gain their trust. They're very hardworking, and they're very stubborn, as I was, because I was not going to give up on my dream.
Well, what an outstanding thing to do. How about that? A big hand for Alex, Donkey Boy. I tell you what, Donkey Boy is a lot better nickname than Butch. That's what I got stuck with. So you're in great shape there. What does it mean to come back to Milby High School, where you spent a lot of time, as you mentioned, some good, some bad, but that's where you learned your craft and you got everything started, and to be back here and be part of the 2024 College Football Playoff National Championship?
This is a very special moment in my career. I would say that this is so far the best highlight of my career, because I walk these hallways. I'm a graduate from here, and I used to walk the hallways and think to myself, how can I be an artist when I grow up? How can I have a career as an artist? And full circle, here I am now, and I'm able to contribute, and hopefully I can inspire some of these students to do the same thing.
And you've done some work with the Astros also, if I'm not
Correct,
mistaken.
yes.
I thought I saw you.
Yes. We did two murals inside Minute Maid.
Okay, now you have something very exciting to talk about, and it involves your old school, and it involves a hat. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the hat project is going to be like an homage that I'm paying to Milby. So it's going to be a hat that is going to have the colorways of Milby, and the proceeds of that are going to go towards Milby. We don't know what they're going to go towards, but we'll figure that out. All proceeds are going to go towards the school. And also, we have a mural that we're going to be working on, thanks to this lovely program. This is like the bare bones of the mural, right? So this is just a sketch. This is how I begin my sketches. They're always pretty basic and to the point. The idea is to be able to involve some of the students and some of the community and some of the staff from the school, and collectively we'll be able to create something that students can look at and hope to look at every day. Back then, Milby wasn't how it is now, and it's grown so much, and it's just a lovely place now. So I want to help encourage kids to keep coming to school. We're missing a lot of things in the sketch. It may not even look like this. It may end up looking totally different, but that'll be up to the students and the people that we work with. We have to put some logos, of course. We got to give a big shout out to Houston Loves Teachers and all the partners involved. So this is, like I said, just the bare bones of it.
Well, what a beautiful and very generous thing for you to do, to give back to your old high school. How about a big hand for Donkey Boy coming back to Milby High School? Good to meet you. That was just amazing. What a talented young man there. And it's great that he could come back and continue to give to his alma mater. And now, at this point, I would like to ask, first of all, let me thank Britton, Jude, and Carrie. Let me thank you very much for coming up and taking your time to share your thoughts on what's going on a big, big weekend in Houston on January 8th. They will be around. This is for members of the media. They will be around, and they will do interviews as soon as we are done with this press conference. So thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. How about a big hand for these guys? Well, as I don't really have to say this, but you already know there are so many people that are interested, of course, in the 2024 CFP National Championship. Well, our next guest, they're going to let you know how any fan can be a part of it. And that sounds a little weird because, those tickets are hard to get, but there is a way you can be involved in it. So I'm going to introduce our next guest and ask them to come up on the stage, please. First of all, it's the Executive Director of the College Football Playoff, Mr. Bill Hancock. Also joining us is the Vice President of the Harris County Houston Sports Authority and the President of the Houston Host Committee, Chris Massey. Thank you, guys. Thank you both very much. Bill, if you don't mind.
I have to call a quick timeout.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I was a piano jock. And I wish they had called me Piano Boy.
Yeah.
And also, those of you in the white polos, are you like teachers? You're administrators. The principal, man, how many of you spent time in the principal's office? Yeah, we all did. Just wanted to thank you so much for having us here at Milby. This is a great experience for all of us, and thank you for what you're doing for young people. My wife retired after 30 years of teaching high school English, so she has walked the halls just like you have, and just really want to thank you. So,
And Bill,
Coach, I'm sorry to get off the script there.
no,
but
no,
it's
your show.
I thought we had to recognize Piano Boy.
Well, since you're warmed up, let's talk a little bit about the 10th anniversary of the CFP National Championship. I know Houston has always been on your radar because, you know, it's a big city. It's got a lot of great things here. What was different this time? What put Houston over the top?
Well, we've been waiting to come to Houston. This is our 10th year. We started just up the road with our first year in Dallas, but we knew that eventually we would wind up in Houston. And Houston has everything a big event needs. It has Chris Massey, okay, start and end right there. But you also have the infrastructure. You have wonderful airports. You have terrific hotels. You have this beautiful stadium. And did I mention Chris Massey? It does take a village to put on an event like this, and it takes a village with leaders. And Chris and friends are the leaders that are going to make this happen for us. All around the college football community, all during the fall, people will be talking about Houston as the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And we just cannot wait for January to roll around when we can come back and introduce the rest of the college football world to this wonderful city that you have. I just wish we could bring them all here to Milby. Maybe we'll try to do that.
Oh, we'll bring Milby to them. How about that?
There you go.
We'll do that. Yeah. Chris, I want to ask you, because you've been involved in bringing so many major events to Houston. You know the drill. You know what goes on with it. When you talk about a national championship, let's talk a little bit about how does it compare in scale and scope to some of the other big events, major events that you've brought to Houston?
Well, every event is a little bit different, regardless of the size and scale, and they each have their own unique DNA. And college football playoff and their national championship program and weekend as a whole is no different. But I will say, and I can't emphasize enough, this is Texas, and this is college football. And so I think as a whole, the community, the excitement is palpable. It's really something that differentiates this championship from some of the other events that we've hosted, is that we've got an eager group of alumni bases representing I don't know how many different universities across the country that are all marking their calendars for January 8th, hoping for a chance to compete in the championship game.
Yeah, and for something this exciting, it doesn't matter which team is playing in the big game. I mean, you just want to be a part of the excitement. So, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm sure everybody, and there's probably a few rooting interests in this room, no doubt about that. But the championship game speaks for itself. What Bill and their team does to really uplift the student athletes and really recognize college football for what it truly is at its core is amazing. And so, again, regardless of the teams, you know you're going to have a great competition that really celebrates the sport.
And Bill, I kind of teed this up for you earlier. I kind of threw it out there because, you know, there are not a lot of tickets for this thing around, but there is a way where the fans can still participate during championship weekend. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, each team will get 20,000 tickets. So you will see a lot of fans of School X and School Y here in town. Way more than frankly, than we would see at the Final Four. That was our goal initially, was to have this event be for the fans of the teams who participate. But there are lots of ways that people can participate in the event, even if you don't have a game ticket. We'll start with Fan Central, the interactive fan amusement park, which will be at the Convention Center downtown. It's so much fun. You can go and run a 40-yard dash if you want to. Or more fun is probably watching the kids run a 40-yard dash. You can throw a football around. You'll be able to attend pep rallies with the bands from the marching bands from the two schools. We have a concert series that will be downtown with A-list acts. We're not prepared to announce those yet, but they will be A-list people. And this has been an extremely popular event for us. I'll give a little commercial for our 10K and 5K runs downtown. That's a highlight of the weekend. Those happen on Sunday morning. So if you're not in shape, why get that way and come down and enjoy being a part of that. So back in the day, back when I first started in this business, you just opened up the stadium and said to people, there's going to be a game, kickoff's at 7 o'clock, show up. Well, we learned several years ago, you can't just do that. You have to have things to draw the community into the event. So this is why we have the Fan Festival. This is why we have the concert series. This is why we have the run in the morning. Just come down and enjoy it. I will say that we had a 5K out in Los Angeles, and it turned out, if you are runners, I used to be in my younger days, it turned out that instead of a 5K, we had a 4.5K. So yes, the course was short, and people were finishing and they were like, oh my goodness, I just set a PR for 5K. Well, that's because you only ran 4.5K. But we promised that this year we will have a full 5K and a full 10K and not a 9.5K.
It has definitely become an event. And Chris, I want to throw this at you because we don't know who's going to be participating, but it really doesn't matter because we do know there will be student athletes, there'll be coaches, there'll be fans, everybody in our city. What can they expect to enjoy? Can they leave Houston with talking about?
Hospitality, in short. I think, our community gets so excited about big events. And like you said, regardless of the teams, we know whether it's our volunteers that have a specific role within the host committee or just the average Houstonian that's taking in all the great activities that Bill was alluding to, they're going to show hospitality, and we're such a diverse community with so much to offer. June mentioned earlier the arts, the culture, the food. So those are all things that we want to open up our doors and welcome the community as a whole, those college football fans, wherever they're coming from around the country, so they can really soak that all in. And we think that the events and the programming that the college football playoff provides throughout the weekend is a great conduit to doing just that.
And of course, Bill mentioned some of the big events going on in our city. I'm going to run through them real quick. What he didn't say is most of them are free, which fits my budget, so that makes it really, really good. But you mentioned, of course, the Playoff Fan Central. That's going to be at the Jar Jar Brown. That is a really, really cool event. Playoff Fan Central is a free 3-day, family-friendly event at the Jar Jar Brown Convention Center. It features clinics for kids. They'll have a lot of stuff like that, art exhibits, and they'll celebrate college football's long and stoic history. And Bill, you've been to a lot of these, and you've already touched on that a little bit about what fans can expect. So I want to ask you to do that again. I'm going to skip a little bit and go to the next event here, which is the AT&T Playoff Playlist Live, which will serve as the soundtrack for the 2024 College Football Playoff National Championship. And we are here today to announce that it's a free, star-studded event. It will take place downtown at Shell NRG Stadium. And in case you don't know where that is, that's where the Dynamo and Texas Southern play their games in downtown Houston. And Chris, I've already been told you can't tell us which acts will be there, which musical acts will take part, but you can tell us a little bit about who've been there in the past and a little bit about the excitement surrounding that.
Well, Chris, before you go, I'm lobbying our staff. Y'all, this is the year maybe that we're going to have the Beatles? Okay, Chris.
You heard it here first. No, the CFP, their partners at AT&T, they do a phenomenal job of creating a great atmosphere with those A-list acts. And although we can't tell you exactly who they're going to be, we do know that it's going to touch several different genres, which I think is great and representative of our community and the diversity of our community. And a challenge to all Houstonians and all the fans that will be coming into town. I've already bullishly told Bill that we're going to set attendance records night in, night out. So we need everybody to take up that opportunity. Our pledge to you is to make sure that it's a great show, that there's great talent there, and to create an overall great experience. And so we know that Houston's going to show up in force.
How important is this 3 days of concerts to the city of Houston? How important is that?
Well, we talked a little bit earlier that there are a finite number of tickets. Credit due where credit is due, that the CFP does a great job of making sure that the fans have access to those tickets, but we know college football may not be the motivation for everybody that wants to get involved in this great event, and so this is just another opportunity through that through the playoff playlist live for the community to enjoy the art side, that entertainment side outside of football, to really listen to some great music in a family-friendly atmosphere, some unique VIP experiences, and so it's just going to be one great celebration.
Well, and there's one more event that Bill mentioned earlier. If you want to be active and exercising is your thing, this is for you. The new CFP Trophy Trot, formerly the Extra Yard 5K, will make its way through downtown Houston. It's going to be a lot of fun. And this year there's something new. Races will feature both a 5K and a 10K distance, offering a chance for locals to take part and from people coming in from out of town to get in part of that national championship spirit. And can I convince you guys to, buckle up the tennis shoes and participate?
We might have to have a gentleman's wager, Bill. What do you think?
I think we might. Would Tex-Mex be involved?
You got a deal.
Okay.
Well, we can work that out.
We'll go Dallas barbecue and against Houston Tex-Mex.
There we go. That sounds like a plan to me. And since you brought up food, later, the night before the championship Monday, and you could sign me up for this right now, it's called the Taste of the Championship. It will serve up a foodie's delight at Union Station downtown, offering attendees the opportunity to indulge in just about everything Houston and Southwest Texas you can find there. And of course, local chefs and local people in the community will be participating in that. And Bill, you've done many of these. I mean, what's so special about this event?
This event, I want to talk about Houston for a second because of everything you have to offer. You're also in the central part of the country. We haven't been really there since Dallas. I think we can expect a lot of folks to come just to be a part of the event. You have what it takes. And all the events we've talked about, all free. They emphasize that sometimes we get pretty serious about our sports in this country. Man, we're here with the college football playoff to have fun. And let's all remember that. And this will be a good, fun weekend for everyone.
Definitely, no doubt about that. One more thing we need to bring up and promote because it's going to be a big part of the championship weekend, and that is Media Day. It's one of the most exciting parts of the weekend, but this year we have a different twist on it. It'll take place Saturday morning on January 6th within the Playoff Fan Central. That's over at George R. Brown. And what's different about it, it's a free event, by the way. You can go to this also. But Media Day will also feature 1-hour interview sessions with the student athletes and their coaches. They will all be participating, and the fans will be there to watch and listen in on the interviews live. And that's kind of a peek behind the scenes because that's not something fans normally get to look at. And I've been to many media days, and I can remember one Super Bowl where there was a reporter there with a wedding dress on, and she asked Tom Brady to marry her. So that didn't work out too well for her either. But Bill, you've done a lot of these, so what's been some of the strangest questions and answers you've heard during this time?
I have been to a lot of media days in my career. By the way, this is another fun opportunity for fans to get close to the athletes, to see them without their gear on and hear them talking as normal human beings, just talking to the press. Questions, what did you have for breakfast this morning? That's a common one. What will you do after the game? When was your first football game that you can remember? Ours is not as goofy as Super Bowl by design, and so we try to keep it to things about football. I saw an interview with Carl Lewis at the Olympics back in 1984, where people tried to lead Carl down a path that he didn't want to go down, and he was so disciplined to just say, let's talk about track and field. Another good Houston guy right there. yeah, just the I saw Bob Knight get interviewed when he was coaching the USA basketball team, men's basketball team in the Olympics, and you never knew what Bob Knight might say in an interview. I guess I better not go into the kind of things that Bob Knight said. But Media Day, great fun. So if you get a chance, go down to Fan Central on Saturday morning and you can participate in observing Media Day.
Well, what we've done here this morning is kind of lay out the whole championship weekend for you. It's going to be an exciting weekend for the big game. You guys have any final thoughts you want to pass along? Bill, let's start with you.
Well, just come and enjoy it and follow the season and figure out which teams are going to be there. Maybe pick a team, get in your family and pick a couple of teams that you think might be here for the game. And then just love enjoying college football during the fall, realizing that the goal of every team that is practicing now and is going to start playing in a couple of weeks, the goal of each one of those teams will be to come to Houston.
Chris?
I would just echo Bill's open invitation. Look for us, our host committee, out and about in the community throughout football season. We've got a lot of fun activations and promotions going on. Truly want to touch all the corners of our community and make sure that those opportunities are open and offered. And so you can follow us on our Houston 2024 website, our social media accounts with the Harris County Houston Sports Authority. Just lots of exciting things to come. And so really invite you guys to join us on that journey.
Chris, Bill, thank you for being here so much this morning. Bill, you ought to take your own show on the road, man. You could do a little comedy section.
Little piano boy.
Yeah, there you go. You just came up with the name for it right there. Well, that's going to wrap up our program for this morning. Just a few housekeeping notes. All the speakers, Bill and Chris included, will be available for one-on-one interviews from members of the media. If you want to get with them, they'll be near the championship trophy. So it's been great having you guys here. One more thing, some fun for you fans at home. You may want to join the College Football Playoff and the CFP Foundation on social media, because that's going to be a lot of fun also. So thank you all for coming here this morning. We really appreciate it, and see you championship weekend. Thank you very much.